Have you ever heard something so strong in your head that said, no? We're going to talk about that today when we talk about clairaudience. You know those times in your life where you'll be in a situation, you'll be somewhere, and suddenly inside you, you will hear no. Sometimes it happens right when you're waking up or in between sleep and awake. Well, that is an example of clairaudience. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Not clairaudience, but clairaudience. Welcome to my channel. My name is Max Ryan, and what we do here on this channel is I teach you really transformational spiritual principle, and I also teach you metaphysical tools, which is what we're going to do today when we talk about clairaudience. So if these are some things that you really are interested in, please click the subscribe channel so you don't miss any of my videos. Okay? Well, welcome. So today we're going to talk all about clairaudience, and clairaudience is just another way of saying psychic hearing. Dun dun dun. And you know, inside you might hear that dun 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 when something really intense is going to happen in your life. That might be clairaudience. The term clair means clear en français, en French, right? Clear hearing, right? So it's one of the ways that we receive messages from beyond this world. You can be clairvoyant, you can be clairaudient, clairsentient, and all of those things. I've done a clairvoyant live stream, so you can check that out for sure, because I talk a lot about clairvoyance. But today we're going to talk about sound. Because there's a lot of sound in silence. When we talk about clairaudience, what we're really meaning is that spirit, God, angels, people that have crossed over, we start to hear. Has that ever happened to you? Please put in the comments below if it's happened to you. And if it has happened to you, please explain it to us. It's really important. So what we're going to do today is we're going to help to develop your clairaudience, right? So in the woohoo psychic-y world, what we're doing is we're trying to tune in and hear from the other world. But the best way to start to do that is to work in this world, because there is a great difference between being able to hear something and true listening. It's like when you're talking to somebody and whatever they're saying is very important to them, but you, on the other hand, might be listening to their words, but you're not really hearing them, because after a while it starts to sound like wah, 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 wah. You understand what I'm saying? Where you just start to tune out. You're not really hearing. You're listening to the sound, but you're not really hearing. You're not really taking it in. And when you're doing intuitive work, you need to take it in. And so we want to start to develop our clairaudient abilities by starting to be very aware of sounds here in this world, not the world on the other side, if you know what I mean. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to take you through an exercise. And this exercise is very simple, very simple. We're going to listen to 3 sounds, okay? We're going to listen to those 3 sounds. And when you listen, I want you to identify what they are and hear it very clearly. And also, this is really important, see what it connects you with internally, because the sound might trigger a memory or a feeling or something like that. Okay? That's what we're going to do. So that's what we're going to do in just a second. But first, one of the most important things about clairaudience and being able to really develop your clairaudience abilities Because silence is the background to all the noise, right? So you want to develop your capacity for silence. Okay. All right. So just kick back. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to open your ears and check out these sounds. And then when we come back, I'll reveal them to you and we'll talk more. Okay? So I'll see you in a couple of seconds. Okay, welcome back. All right, so there were 3 sounds. I'll tell you what they were in just a second. But I want to say before we start to, work and evaluate what you heard, is that those 3 sounds also elicited feelings and scenarios. Remember, with the clairs, one clair, like clairaudience, can literally trigger another clair. So you hear one of the sounds and you see something with it. Does that make sense? And you might end up feeling something in it in clairsenscience. Does that make sense? Clairsenscience is your ability to have clear feelings, right? All right, so let's go. All right, so I'm going to tell you what they were. I'm sure you probably got them, but what's more important is that you were really hearing, not just listening. You were hearing them. Okay. Number 1 was a cowbell. A cowbell. I know it's kind of old school, but you might have some associations with it, even if it's a freaking cartoon or I don't care what it is, but you have an association with it. Number 1 was a cowbell, right? This is not about getting right or wrong answers. I'm just giving you context, right? So a cowbell, that could go into farm, that can go into milking, that can go into the milk industry. Your imagination and where it takes you is what's more important, right? Number 2 was babies cooing. Babies. I know you got that. And this one I put in there very specifically because babies tend to bring up a lot of emotions in us, right? All of these work really clearly. Or you could have heard the babies and then you could have started thinking about your new nephew or your new son or your new granddaughter or a baby in your life, right? See, they're all connected. And it all comes from audience, from hearing. Got it? Number 1 is cowbell. Number 2 is babies cooing. And number 3 was thunder. Or distant thunder, actually. It's more specifically distant thunder, right? So distant thunder, again, first of all, you identify it just by hearing it. Second of all, it's going to help you to really tune into more images or feelings, or it could be fear. You could associate distant thunder with if you lived in a place that had a lot of tornadoes, things like that. So this is what clairaudience is all about. Listening. And as the great Simon and Garfunkel song says, the sound of silence. When I do mediumship, which for me, I don't specifically do mediumship, but it happens for me, where suddenly I'll be like, wow, your grandmother, I feel your grandmother, I see your grandmother, whatever it happens to be. That's how it happens for me when I do intuitive work with mediumship. But a lot of times, some mediums, or some people that have mediumship ability, they start to hear things, right? And let me say this one caveat before we leave, is that clairaudience sometimes comes in the form of seeing a word, like bam, or no. In your mind, you see the word no, or bam, or grandma. You see it like a, you don't have to, you could, see it like a billboard. Grandma. That's only if your grandmother was really rough. But it could be, there could be a grandma, and you hear harps, and you know, it could be like that. See, it's all connected. So sometimes clairaudience is that you see the word, because audience is about the word, the sound. Did you get it? So please, 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 put in your comments below your experience with clairaudience, your questions about clairaudience, because I definitely want to hear about it, because it can be really fun. First of all, you know it can be really fun, but it can also be really enlightening. What is it that you hear? What is the thing that you might be hearing? Now, I want to say this really quickly before we go. This is not about hearing voices like you're insane. That's a whole other thing. And that is beyond my purview as a spiritual teacher. But this is not about hearing voices like you're insane kind of thing. So, but yeah, that's it. All right, I hope that you enjoyed this. Please subscribe if you get anything out of the work that we do here, and look for my next videos. Hit the bells to make sure that you know, because I definitely do Facebook Lives, so that you'll be notified. You can come in and do readings, or I teach you about really transformational spiritual principle, and my whole thing for you is that you learn to trust yourself. And when you learn to trust yourself, then your life becomes amazing. All right? Remember, today could be the best day of your life, and that's the truth. I will talk to you really soon. See ya.